Hey there, this is Tercio, and we're back with more Civilization 6. We're going to continue from last time, the last tutorial that I did, and we're going to go into more deeper stuff. We're going to cover Civics tree, the governments, policies, builders, diplomacy, and of course barbarians if we do encounter them in this game. So, you might have noticed that if we go to the Civics tree right here, they give us some little things here. These are called cards. These are social policy cards, okay? So once I finish Code of Laws, for example, I get the Discipline card, the Survey card, the God King card, and the Urban Planning card. And as you can see, they have like different colors. So these red ones are of military type. These yellow ones are economic type. You can also see that we have more over here. This purple one is a Great Person card. And this one, right over here, these green ones are diplomatic cards. So you have those four kind of cards. So what are they for? If we go over here... Oh, sorry, we actually can't. Okay. Once we unlock Code of Laws, a button will unlock here where we can change the social policies. We'll get to that once we hit 4 turns. Okay, so we encountered a rival civilization. In this case, it's Sumeria, Gilgamesh, King Gilgamesh. Now, when you first meet a civ, you get these options. The bottom option, well met stranger, but I'm afraid we are too busy to stay in chat, will immediately cut the conversation. But if you select the upper one, it's an honor to meet you, it gives you several other options here. The bottom option, sorry but not at this time, will also immediately cut the conversation, but if you select the top one, we would love to sample your hospitality. What this does, it reveals his capital city to you. It also reveals yours as well. In some cases this is useful, in other cases it's not useful. Imagine if this civilization is a very warmongering civ, and you're a very peaceful one, and you don't want him discovering your capital. Then you would just cut the conversation right here. In this case, I don't have any trouble with Gilgamesh knowing the location of my capital. So I'll love to sample your hospitality. And on the minimap, you can see the capital of Sumeria right down here. We also get a Eureka, if you remember from the last episode. Eurekas are boosts, but for the tech tree. And the requisite was meeting another civilization. So writing has been boosted 50%. Great. And here's Uruk, the capital of Sumeria. Okay, so we're going to keep exploring. Let's send our scout to the north. Our warriors here keep exploring also around our capital. There's the Sumerian Scout. So you actually get into contact with a civilization when you meet one of their units, or you discover one of their cities. That's how you actually get that first conversation with them. We discovered a new city-state here. You know, I might as well get the city-state explanation out of the way. So I did give a small introduction to city-states in the last episode. They're like neutral cities around the map. And what they do, if you click on them, okay, you can send envoys to these city-states. The more envoys you send, the more bonuses a city-state gives you. You can also declare war in a city-state if you want to take its territory, but that is not recommended in most cases, because it's actually better if you can get their bonuses. Now, we can see here on the city-states report that it has a type. In this case, Yerevan is religious. If we go to another city-state, like over down here, Valletta, okay, we can see this is a militaristic city-state. There are several other types as well, and they all give distinct bonuses. So, for example, a militaristic city-state, you can see that it focuses on military kind of bonuses, okay? While, for example, Yerevan, which is religious, will actually help us gain faith. Faith is another yield that you get in this game. You can see it next to culture. We already covered science and culture in the previous video. Faith is a new, another yield that you can get. You can get it from city-states like we see here, from texts, from buildings, sort of like that. And it's also an empire-wide yield. All these yields here are empire-wide. Science, culture, faith, and gold. Okay, so we go over the city details here of the city-state. The way to get these bonuses is by sending envoys. So we can check here how many envoys we have. So we have one, influenced by one civilization. That would be us. Now you might say, I didn't do anything to actually send an envoy here. Well, discovering the city-state already grants you one envoy. Valletta, on the other hand, I think we were the first one. Yes, we first discovered Valletta, so we get our free envoy as well. So that's fantastic. So you can actually check it here, which civilizations are competing to influence over the city-state. If you click on the quests, you actually get a kind of mission here. In this case, trigger a Eureka for bronze working. Trigger the Eureka moment for the bronze working technology. And it gives you a reward. It gives you one more envoy. So if we do what it says here, we get an additional envoy. So, as you can see here, we have the list of bonuses for how many envoys you send. So, for example, now that we have one envoy in Yerevan, we get +2 faith in the capital. That is already a really nice bonus. As you can see, our faith counter up here, +2. If we send 3 envoys, we get +2 faith in every holy site district. If we send 6 envoys, additional +2 faith in every holy site district. And if we have 3 envoys and more than any other civilization, that means that you are the most influential on Yerevan. You get all of this. You turn into the I have problems pronouncing this. Suzerain, okay? You actually get a unique bonus from Yerevan. This is only from this particular city-state. It has nothing to do with the type. Okay, so only Yerevan can do this. Your apostle units can choose from any possible promotion instead of receiving a random promotion. And for being the suzerain diplomacy bonus, you get all of this. Okay. The city-state follows you into war and peace with other players. Your units may enter city-state lands. Your builder units may improve city-state tiles. See 3 tiles around the city-state. Can pay gold to temporarily take control of the city-state's military. This is a pretty cool bonus. Gain ownership of all the city-state's resources. So, influencing city-states depending on your strategy is really, really useful. If we're going to Valletta, we can see that it focuses on production stuff. Right now, for having 1 envoy, we get +2 production in the capital when producing units. So that is helping us a lot. Okay, so if we hover over here, we can see that we get 1 envoy at 100 influence points. We have currently 12 influence points, and we get +1 influence point per turn. That is a natural yield that we get. Every player gets 1 influence point minimum in the game. Okay, then you can increase this by governments and policies, and we'll get to that once Code of Laws finishes. So we're going to explore into Yerevan. If we do this, hold on, as you can see, these dotted lines are the borders of Yerevan. That means that in the beginning of the game, when there's dotted lines, you can actually pass through other civs and city-states territory, no penalty involved. So this warrior here, oh, what is this? Oh, it's a warrior from Yerevan, and it's hurt, probably because it's been fighting barbarians. We're going to explore this fog of war here. Let's see what we find. We get some more wheat, gypsum. Okay, great. Next turn, and we unlock Code of Laws.
It is not wisdom, but authority that makes a law.
So yes, with your people enthused to try Code of Laws, government and social policy changes are free this turn. Okay, so we get a button here that says change policies, and we get to this screen. Now, really important, this is the government screen. This card, this big thing here on the left hand side, this is your current government. Right now we're a chiefdom. Every single civilization in the game starts with chiefdom. It's the most basic form of government, the most primitive. That's what we all start with. And every government type in the game gives you a certain number of card slots. So chiefdom, for example. Oh, and here's the influence point that comes from before. Gain 1 influence point per turn. At 100 points, earn 1 envoy. So chiefdom is the one that's giving us our natural influence point per turn. Just so you know. So chiefdom in this case is giving us 1 military policy slot and 1 economic policy slot. You start the game with these policies right here. And every time you unlock a civic, you have the opportunity to change these bonuses for free. If you do it outside of a civic discovery or a government change, then you have to pay gold to change it. Okay, that's a penalty. So you want to drag the red cards onto the red slot and the yellow cards onto the yellow slot. So you want to get the maximum benefit for the situation that we are right now. So we could either get Survey, which is double experience for recon units, or Discipline, which is +5 unit combat strength when fighting barbarians. Honestly, Discipline is what you're probably going to get most of the time, because barbarians are a pain in the neck at the beginning of the game. So we slot it there. And as for our economic slot, we're going to go, let's see, +1 production in all cities, or God King, which gives us +1 faith, +1 gold in the capital. Now, you want to go for God King in case you really want to get a religion at the beginning of the game. Just for tutorial purposes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slot God King, which is going to give us that extra faith. Once we've done this, we press Confirm Policies. Is our policy agenda set? Yes. And those go into effect immediately. As you can see, our faith has increased, our gold also increased, and so on. And also, what I was trying to see before, now you get the government button unlocked here. So let's press the government button. So you can see it's the same screen as before. This is my government. Okay. Chiefdom doesn't give any diplomatic slots or wildcard slots. In the diplomatic slots, you would put green cards, and in the wildcard slot, you would put any kind of color. That's why it's called wildcard. So, view policies. Here we have all the policies we've unlocked. We only have Code of Laws. Code of Laws gave us just these 4 to begin with. And then if we click on View Governments, we can see all the governments that you can choose in the game. Here's Chiefdom, the one that everybody starts off with. And the next ones to be unlocked are Classical Republic, Autocracy, and Oligarchy. And here you can see, you can plan ahead and check which slots they give you. So Classical Republic will give us 2 economic slots, 1 diplomatic slot, and 1 wildcard slot. And then they have a special thing called Legacy Bonus. Legacy Bonus are these bonuses that you see underneath each of these government types. This is a bonus that applies immediately when you select a government. So in the case of us choosing Classical Republic, we get all cities with a district receive +1 amenity. Pretty nice. We also get 15% bonus Great People points. That is something else that we also have to get into. The thing about legacy bonuses is that these bonuses actually increase over time the more you have this government selected. So if I'm Classical Republic, say, for 100 years of in-game time, for example, then that will increase the bonus. Well, it's better explained here, you see. Bonus Great People points, 15% plus 1% for every 15 turns on standard speed. So for every 15 turns that I have Classical Republic selected, this bonus would be 16, 17, 18, it will go up. And when you change government to a more advanced one, say if I change to a monarchy later on, you keep the legacy bonus of your previous governments. That's why it's called legacy bonus. So it's pretty neat. I like that system a lot. At the moment, we haven't unlocked any of these, so we can't do much. Also, take into account that every government type also has the influence points here. In the case of Chiefdom, we get 1 influence point per turn, and the classic ones, the classic governments here, Oligarchy, Autocracy, and Classical Republic, getting 3 influence points per turn. That increases, of course, so for example, Theocracy gains 5 influence points, while the most advanced governments in the game, like Democracy, gain 7 influence points per turn. So that is governments covered. Let's see if later on we have the chance to actually change it. If you actually go to the Civics tree, and you open it, not only can you see what kind of cards and social policies you get, but also if you scroll all the way to the right, you can see our first major important civic, which is political philosophy. And this unlocks those first 3 governments, which are Autocracy, Classical Republic, and Oligarchy. You really want to get political philosophy as fast as you can, just to get those incredible bonuses. So right now, I'm going to select craftsmanship as my next social policy, just because I have it boosted. It's going to take less, and it's going to give us an economic slot. I mean, an economic card. In this case, 30% production towards builders, which would be nice to actually lift up our empire here at the beginning. And we get a military card, which is 15% production toward ancient and classical era melee and range units. Extremely useful also to go to war and create a sizable army really fast. Okay, so let's close that. Let's keep exploring the world, shall we? Let's choose a production in Washington. We are going to go with a builder now. Builder takes 9 turns, so that's what we... 9 turns? 7? 7 turns now? How come? Okay, probably it didn't update the production bonuses and the like. Fine. So 7 turns, that's perfect. And our warrior unit, we're just going to see if there's any more barbarian. We should actually check this fog of war here. So I'm going to send him south, while the scout does his thing. Now we've got a slinger here. We're going to use the slinger for defense. So one thing that you can do with military units, you can see they have several commands here. One special command that they have is fortify. Fortify, as the name indicates, it fortifies their position. They cannot move if they do this, but if they get attacked, they get a bonus in defense. So let's fortify, because they're in the city. They're going to be defending our city of Washington. They fortify inside the city, and that's very useful against barbarians and other attackers. The scout still scouting. Now we can see these tiles. They're special tiles that we haven't seen before. These are called Tundra, as you can see by the tooltip. This indicates that we're getting close to one of the poles of the planet. In this case, by checking the minimap, we know that we're going north, so we're actually reaching the North Pole. We can actually even see the edge of the map here. Now the thing about Tundra Tiles is that they're not very useful. As you can see, every Tundra Tile just skips 1 food. So you really want to avoid settling in Tundra. It's horrible. It's caca. You really don't want that. But it's useful to know. It's useful to know where the tundra is, just so you know if you're at the edge of the planet or not. So let's keep going southward with our warrior. Let's go next turn. And Gilgamesh sends a delegation. Gifts of Sumerian jewelry and lyres. From lyres? Lyres. Yeah, I know, the instrument. From will you accept them into your city? Now, this is to improve relationships. I want to really be friends with Gilgamesh. I don't want to be a warmonger. So I can tell him your delegation is most welcome. I could tell him our capital is not open to visitors at this time. So if I choose the first option, that will increase our relationship positively. If I choose the second option, that will reduce our relationship in a negative way. If I say goodbye, this is like ignoring. This won't affect either positive or negative. So you can actually choose, if you like, this never happened, just say goodbye. Your message never arrived. But in this case, I do want him to think good of me, so your delegation is most welcome. He likes it. Goodbye. Good guy America. So let's keep scouting the planet with our scout. We're discovering new resources. Our warrior, I really want him to go down here into the fog of war. Next turn. We're going to get to our builder soon.
I thought clay must feel happy in the good potter's hand.
Okay, so we got pottery unlocked. Oh, and we found a barbarian scout. Now, the thing about barbarians, I've been talking about them a lot, but we haven't actually seen them. This is the first time we find a barbarian, okay? Barbarians, they normally send out scouts. These scouts go around the map just like yours, discovering the terrain and the exploring around. And once they find one of the player's cities, what they do is turn around and go back to their encampment. Why? Because that's where the barbarian army is waiting. Once that scout goes back to the encampment, he tells the other barbarians where you are, and that's when all the barbarian horde will come to destroy you. So the thing is, you really want to destroy scouts before they discover you. In this case, I'm actually going to engage this scout with my scout. And I'm going to win. I know that I'm going to win because I know he's injured. As you can see by this bar here. This bar is his health. I also, if you remember correctly, if we go to, our government, you remember I slotted the discipline card, which gives us a +5 unit combat strength when fighting barbarians. So we have that advantage as well. If you hover your mouse while selecting one of your military units over an enemy unit, you can see a prediction of the battle. It says down there, major victory. And we actually get a detailed view of why we're going to win. So we see that the enemy scout has a 10 base strength, like any other scout. He receives a -4 penalty because he's damaged. And we can see on our side that we get the 10 base strength, +5 advantage versus barbarians, and +5 combat on the home continent. That +5 combat on home continent is a bonus from our leader, Teddy Roosevelt. If you remember from the first episode, Roosevelt corollary, units receive a +5 combat strength on their home continent. Yay. This is still our home continent. The way to know what continent is different from ours, if we select down here the lenses and we select the continent lens, we can see that the red area is the continent of In fact, if you leave your mouse over a tile, you can see on the tooltip it says continent So while we're on our home continent where our capital is, which is we get a 5 combat strength. That is fantastic. So let's actually use our scout to attack this scout. There's the combat. So we didn't actually kill his scout. We did take -43 health from him. And you can see he's badly injured now. Our scout also received some damage. Not much, because the other scout didn't have much strength. In the next turn we'll probably be able to finish him off. So next turn. The enemy scout went this way, and he got into a forest. We actually discovered a tribal village as well. I would like to pick that up once I deal with this scout. Probably he's going to get away though. He's just going to get away. Next turn. Warriors keep moving where I told them to. We're discovering some... Oh my god. Oh my god, there's a scout. Another barbarian scout is there. We need to destroy it before he gets to the barbarian encampment. I'm going to try and encircle it. I'm going to send my warrior this way to try cut off his path. While with the slinger, I'm actually going to attack it. So we're going to go to this tile here. And now the slinger, as I told you before, is a ranged unit. So we have to press this range attack button here. And it only has one range. The thing is, even though it's one range, the enemy unit cannot retaliate, so our slinger will not receive any damage from this battle. There you have it. Attacking the scout. We took a big chunk of its health. I really want to cross this river, but I don't have any movement points to do that, so we're going to have to wait. Next turn. fact, I'm just going to leave the order queued up. So we actually lost that scout. No problem, though. Oh, we can actually see the borders of a city-state here. I would like to discover that, but first we're going to go to this tribal village. And it gave us an inspiration toward political philosophy. That is fantastic, because if you remember... Oh, and it also gave us a Eureka for masonry tech. Okay, if you remember, political philosophy is the one that gives us our first governments. So that is like the best boost we could have had. Fantastic. We also get a boost to masonry, which is down here. Great. And there's the enemy scout. I mean, it would be a bit useless to chase after it because... Oh, hold on a second. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Okay. We didn't actually get the boost of political philosophy from that tribal village. We got it because the boost condition for political philosophy is meet 3 city-states, which we just did by meeting Hattusa. We met Valletta, we met Yerevan, and we met Hattusa. The bonus that the tribal village gave us was the Eureka moment for masonry. Okay, just so it's clear. So that's good. Next turn. Then we have to catch that scout. Just catch it. We're going to go this way with our slingers. Unfortunately, we won't be able to attack. Next turn, we're going to get our builder out now. And the stupid enemy Barbarian Scout, he's in those woods. We cannot attack him there. I'm actually going to try and surround him this way. Let's see what happens. Yeah, he moves southward towards the city-state. Well, I won't be able to chase him, so... I'll just go keep exploring on my own with my scout around here. And we lost sight of the Barbarian Scout. So, I'm not actually going to chase him because it's going to be stupid to do so. But I do know that that scout is he's going to arrive at the barbarian encampment that he originated from, and he's going to bring all his barbarian friends. So I better prepare some defenses. Now, the game says that we should choose a Pantheon. That's because we accumulated enough faith, which is 25. 25 is the minimum, to found a Pantheon. Founding a Pantheon is the first step towards religion. It's like a very basic form of religion, and we have to choose our Pantheon really carefully, depending on what kind of strategy we want here. So in this case, we get to choose from all of this. You actually get to choose only one. As America, on the long run, I want to focus on a culture victory, so having that in mind... Let's see, God of the Open Sky gives us +1 culture from pastures. That is a bit silly because we cannot build pastures anywhere. I could get +1 culture from banana, citrus, cotton, dyes, silk, spices and sugar plantations. You know what, we're going to go with religious settlements for border expansion rate is 15% higher. Let's do that. And we're going to found this Pantheon. And we get an inspiration. Worship of your Pantheon of gods has brought up further questions about spiritual forces in our world. So founding a Pantheon was actually a requisite boost for mysticism. Great. Now we have our first builder unit. Now builders are civilian units. They don't act like military units. In fact, they cannot fight. If a military enemy unit attacks our civilian, then they capture it. And it's theirs to use. Okay? So you really have to be careful with your civilian units. Now, this is what they are for. They're good for making tile improvements. So in the case of the stone resource that we have here, we're going to move them over the stone resource. And you remember that our first technology that we chose was mining, just for the reason to harvest the stone. That's what we're going to do. We can see here that the option to build a quarry is there. Building a quarry will give us +1 production because this is a stone bonus resource. Bonus resource just gives extra yields on the tile, if you remember from episode 1 of this tutorial. So let's click on the improvement quarry. It's done immediately. There's our beautiful quarry there, and we get that additional production that you can see there. Now, builders have charges. As you can see, originally there were 3 dudes here, now there are 2. That means that we have 3 charges. We wasted 1 by building the quarry. Once we waste all the guys, you have to build another builder. So they're finite. So let's choose another production in Washington. Now would be the grand moment to build a settler. Settlers are what lets you create new cities. And once it's done, it reduces the city's population by 1. So Washington has 3. If I were to create a settler immediately, it would reduce my population back to 2. Okay, it's to symbolize that population of this city is moving to another part to settle. So let's do that. Settler. We're going to found a new city soon. It's always nice to have several cities. And basically, I extended a bit too long than I should. And that's all the time we have for today. I hope this video has also been useful towards your Civilization 6 education. And there will be more to help you with other aspects of the game. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel for more video game, strategy video games and civilization. This is Tercio. See you later.